everybody, so look at what has just arrived through my door. Two of the brand new Victoria Beckham eyeshadow wardrobes. So I've got the olive and I've got the navy noir, so the most colourful ones, the ones I'm most looking forward to trying. So I'm going to try a look on for you today, one on each eye, and show you swatches of these, and also see if I've got a few others in my collection that might already match up to these shades. So that will be quite interesting because I haven't even checked myself yet. So I cannot wait to get started with this. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I like to review the latest products, show you my favourite looks and give you any beauty news you might be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy this sort of content, I would love it so very much if you did subscribe to my channel, it's ever so helpful. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very much for being here, I really appreciate it. And my skin tone, if we're looking at matching up with these shades, I've got fair to light skin with neutral / cool undertones, and I've got blue eyes. So these shades are going to be quite dark on my complexion, so it's going to be interesting to see if they work. Anyway, that is enough about me. Let's get straight into this video. Before I do anything at all, I'll jump straight into the swatch video. So you might possibly have already seen this because I've actually put them out as shorts reels on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram. But I will play them for you now so you can see the unboxing, which is with the olive, and then swatching. And then there's a shorter video just showing you swatches of the navy noir. So here are those two clips for you. So the prices on these are £71, which will give you the compact and the refill together. There was some confusion prior to this when these were being teased, saying it was going to be 70 just for the case, I think, and then you had to buy the refill on top, but that's not the case. It is 71, which gives you this compact for life, and then the refill is already inside. If you want to buy a refill on its own, it's £47. But something which I find strange, because it didn't mention why, it didn't say I was discounted, it didn't say I was owed a discount, but for some reason I was charged 62 for both of mine, so mine came to 124 for both. I bought both of mine with the compact, so I've bought two compact and two refills, and they actually charge 62. So I don't know if that means the prices are changing or if they've made a mistake and I've just been lucky, or was it because I was on the V suite and I got early access? I honestly don't know, but hopefully that'll happen to you if you're ordering it, but I just wanted to let you know. So looking at these prices, I've already seen quite a few things online about this being overpriced. And I've seen this happen quite a lot lately because obviously very expensive makeup like this is a big talking point. But I just wanted to tell you a few things which might just put it a little bit in perspective. Firstly, this is very high-end luxury makeup, and these cases, I don't think there's a brand on the market that does cases quite of the same quality as Victoria Beckham. They are extraordinarily high-end, they really are. This is a really heavy luxury item, and you get a beautiful mirror, and it really does feel super luxe. So keep in mind that you're getting this case for life that you can buy refills for, and that it's that beautiful. So it's £71 for all of that. But if you compare it to another brand, which I absolutely love, which I agree is very pricey too, but just for comparison, we have the Tom Ford quads. Now these are not refillable, it's not the weighty packaging, this is plastic, whereas the Victoria Beckham is all metal. At least I think it's metal, or is it just heavy plastic? I'm useless at figuring that out. Anyway, maybe it's plastic on the outside actually, but it's a lot heavier, okay? And the Tom Ford, will cost you £74 for the entire thing, which works out, when you look at the weight of the actual product inside, which is 5.2 grams, that works out as 14.23 pounds per gram for Tom Ford. And the YSL, I don't have it in my hand actually, I've put it away now, but I've looked at the YSL quads. They are £52, so a lot less, and they have 4 grams of eyeshadow inside them, which works out as £13 per gram. So that's £1.20 per gram less than Tom Ford. So Tom Ford has more product, but costs a little bit more. Now the Victoria Beckham, which I think most people would probably think is the most expensive, is actually the least expensive, because in here you get 7 grams of product. So that's how many more? 3 grams more than a YSL quad and 2 grams more than a Tom Ford quad, making it £10.14 per gram. So Tom Ford is 14 per gram, YSL is 13 per gram, this is 10 per gram. And if you just buy the refill only, it's £6.71 per gram. So it's actually better value buying these than it is buying Tom Ford or YSL. So just to put things a little bit in perspective there, you are paying for a lot of products inside here and an extremely high-end case. So just letting you know, I'm not saying for a minute that these are cheap and an easy buy. They are extremely expensive, and that's why I've only got 2 for this video, because I literally could not afford to get more than 2. But they are something you need to think about carefully, but I do think you can look at other luxury items out there from other brands, and these are actually not that bad. And I just wanted to show you, I know it was in the video, how you put this in and out. I can't actually get this out with my nail because it's a very small sort of access area there. So I've got this comb here, it's my comb with a pin on the end. So I'm actually putting that underneath to lift it up because it's got a really, really strong magnet. I'm going to put it down now because the last thing I want to do is drop it. So here is the case, and then here is the magnetic eyeshadow refill, and you'll see now how it clicks in. Well, you might see. Yeah, see how it just pulled it in, because it's a really strong magnet and there is just no way that's falling out. So very, very secure, very solid mirror. It's got a really strong hinge on it actually. Very, very solid. And I do actually have the one from Victoria's previous collection here, just to show you the difference. Now these ones weren't refills, so if you look at them side by side, they look very similar, but if you look at them width wise, they're very different. So it's a lot weightier and not quite as sleek the new one because it's refillable, I suppose. And just look at the quantity with these previous ones. Oh, 8 grams, so you actually got a tiny bit more in these ones. So I used to look at these and think they were tiny because they look so small. So when you see it compared to something like the Tom Ford, I was thinking this is so small, but it's actually got more in it. Like I was actually looking at it compared with the Patrick Tar, for instance. The Patrick Tar duo that launched just before Christmas. It's quite a similar size almost to that, but then it's got 8 grams of product in. So I'm going to start by looking at the olive one. Now I just got a couple of palettes out to see if there's anything in my collection that's similar. I don't think there is, in all honesty, so I haven't really got much here to show you. But the first one I wanted to check was, I don't have the Charlotte Tilbury quad that's green, but I think that could be similar. There is a sort of olive quad, isn't there, from Charlotte Tilbury? But this is Charlotte Tilbury. This is called the Instant Eye Palette, Smoky Eyes Are Forever. And this section here, the green section, is called Power Eyes. There. That's the only one. I thought there could be a tiny similarity there with the gold of the Victoria Beckham, but it's definitely darker, the gold in this one, and it doesn't have this sort of rich green here. So there's no similarity with that. And the only other one I thought could be similar is, in my collection anyway, off the top of my head now, I'm trying to think, but this is the Dior Backstage Eye Palette, and this is Khaki Neutrals. So you might find a little bit of a match up here. So I will try and do a swatch of both in the colours I think match the most, and you can see. So that's the closest match I can get. So this is the Dior palette, this is the Victoria Beckham palette. I have to say the mattes I think swatched better from Dior. I'm not so sure that on the eyes they'll be better, but they certainly swatched better. But the shimmer from Dior was nowhere near as nice and didn't swatch as nicely as the Victoria Beckham. But can you see in the swatches, it was the same in my video, they're a little bit patchy in the way they swatch, so I'm not sure how these are going to go on. But anyway, you can sort of recreate this look. The darkest shade in Dior is actually darker than the matte in the Victoria Beckham, which has surprised me actually, because Dior is so well known for being so low in pigment, but this matte here is quite dark. So you can sort of create a very similar look, but you won't get that real pop of gold that you get in from Victoria Beckham. And obviously, talking of Tom Ford, we've just had the olive smoke, so it's definitely worth comparing these two. So I'll just put them up side by side. Not that similar, are they? Pretty different to be fair, but I will still do some swatches. I won't bother swatching the black from the Tom Ford, there's just no point. I'll swatch the shades that are slightly similar. So this one is Victoria Beckham, and here we have Tom Ford. Obviously with Tom Ford we're getting all three in shimmers. It's only the black in that one that's a matte, whereas with these two from Victoria Beckham, these two are matte and this one is the shimmer. So you can get a fairly similar look, but it's definitely a different palette. But I probably would choose one or the other if I were you. I definitely wouldn't go for both. And I have to say, the Tom Ford did a swatch in a much more impressive way. But I haven't tried it on the eyes yet, so maybe it's going to make me fall in love with it in the same way Tom Ford did. Let's wait and see when I get this on the eyes. So I'm going to start, I've actually got a brand new brush here from Wayne Goss, his brand new collection, number 6. And this is a collector's edition large crease brush. And I believe this is made with 2 types of hair, blue squirrel and goats, and it is exceptionally soft. We're talking Sonia G and the new Refa Christmas blush brush level of softness, but I absolutely love it. I've used it twice now and I love the pointed tip on this, so you can really use it to get into the crease here, but you can also really use it to blend out because it's big enough, and you can take it on the side as well and sweep it across. You could do a lot with this. You can even with this tip go underneath. I'm not saying you can line in a really precise way, but when you're just taking a shadow underneath, it's perfect for that. So I'm really pleased with this one. It's made me want to go back and get the whole collection, but finances will not allow it, sadly. I do need to hold back for now, but I'm very pleased I got this one. I did actually get a blush brush as well, but I'll show that in another video because obviously we're just doing the eyes. So I'm going to start now with this brush and go into this matte here. Now there's quite a bit of kickback so far from swatching. Yeah, there's a lot of kickback there. And can you see how much is on the brush? So I don't know if that means I'm going to have tons to deal with. Oh, it's not too bad. So you can see straight away with this, the way you can just place that in the crease. But obviously because I have hooded eyes with me, my transition shade needs to come above the crease. So pretty pigmented that. But it's going onto the eye a lot better than it's swatched so far. Just taking a bit more on the side of the brush now than the tip, to bring it to the whole of the outer V area. Some people might see this as a bronzing shade as well, so when you've got a big section like that, you could sort of consider that if it was your skin tone anyway. It's not mine, it's too deep, but just something to think about for a bit of a multi-use, get your money's worth. You don't need to go back in the pan, it is really pigmented actually, so quite surprising because with swatches I had to go back in to get a fairly decent amount, but now picking it up with the brush, it really is very pigmented and blending out very nicely, so that's really good, and as I would hope when it costs this much. So taking a little bit on the tip, as I said, I'm going to run this under. I would never use a brush this big normally, but because it's got this fine tip, you can. So normally I'd be swapping out for my Refa number 3 at this stage. But see how you can just place it with the tip. It's a really good brush, and it's the first time I've had a brush like this for the crease. So it's working as my blender, my crease, and almost a liner in a way, a rough liner. anyway. That's really nice. Quite happy with that. I am going to take a fluffy brush though, one that's completely clean, and just go around the edges. I don't really want to take another colour at the moment, so I'm just going to soften the edges by going around it with nothing on this clean brush. So now I'm taking my Replenish Shadow 03 and I'm going to take this shade here, which is more of the olive, and I'm going to carefully just tap this into the outer V, more of the inner outer V, if you know what I mean. So just here. Gosh, see how much pigment that picked up, and this brush does not pick up too much at all. So if you went in with a dense brush you would have tons, so really be aware of that, because I thought I was going to get a lot less actually. I really didn't go into it much. Wow, so different to the way it swatches. Really very pigmented. Very nice shade of olive that, isn't it? Oh, I like that. And I'm going to start to bring it across the eye, just lightly. I want the depth to be on the outer section, so I just want a sort of light wash of olive across the whole eye, keeping the deep section here. I've just realised, and you've probably already noticed, that I didn't use my shadow brush to do that. I used the blender brush, which is why I picked up so much product. Oh, what a wally. That's the problem with filming this late in the day. So that might be why I got that much. So I was about to go back in with the blender brush. So I'll go back in with the clean blender brush and start trying to go around the edges. But what I wanted to do was pick up a little bit more of this to go around the edge, because that's really quite a lot of olive and it's a little bit too harsh for me. So I need to really try to soften this. I suppose that does prove the point that the wing gloss brush can pretty much do everything, which is not bad, is it? I am going to go back in with the wing gloss and take this underneath over that brown, just a little bit. And now for this deeper green, I think what I'm going to do is take my Refa number 23 and see if I can use this to line. So I'm going to start by lining under. I'm taking this under there and just bringing it up a tiny bit there, and then I'm going to bring it across and tight to the lash line. I'm hoping this will stand up well against the olive. Oh yeah, it's definitely doing that. So now I'm going to finish by taking some of this gold shimmer on my finger, and now I'm going to take this right from the very inner corner of the eye and start bringing this in. Going to take it up a little bit because I really want it to brighten up this whole area here, which I will tidy it with a brush. Where I've laid down that olive more lightly, that's where I'm going to go over with this gold. Oh, that is gorgeous actually. Very similar though to the Tom Ford, the final look. I suppose I'm doing a very similar type of look with it, but it's given me a very similar overall finish, apart from this green liner. With the Tom Ford I was using a black. So if you're looking at the two, I think that would be the thing to really look at. Do you want the deeper green or do you want the black? Other than that, I'd say the formulas are nearly as good as each other. It's more of a buttery soft cream to powder formula that you're getting from Tom Ford, but these are both formulas made in Italy and they're really good quality, to be fair. And saying about Tom Ford, I'm going to take out my black diamond to take this shade here, because this gold is not an inner corner shade for me, it's too dark. So I'm going to use this colour, which I love, to really brighten this area. I think especially when you're going for such a dark look on fair skin, you do need to try and brighten with like a white or a cream. In this case it's a light pink, but it sort of suits my skin tone. I'm taking that under the brow as well. So that is the final look. What do you think? Very easy actually. It blended together really, really easily, and the pigment is really there, much more so than I thought from Swatches. I love the shimmer. I think there's an awful lot of impact with the shimmer. I can't complain about this at all. I think it's beautiful. Obviously we'll see it with mascara at the end, but what do you think of Olive? Really, really beautiful. And I've had no fallout. I did tap off every time, but I haven't got any fallout whatsoever. So that's good. And what I would expect. So now we can move on to the blue. So I've only got one palette out here, but I do think there's a blue shade in this that could be the same, even two. So I've got here the Natasha Denona, what's it called? The Mini Trio Chrome palette, the Quint. If you want to see the two of them side by side, there's quite a bit of similarities here, except the Victoria Beckham is missing that Trio Chrome, which is this one here. So I'll do some swatch comparisons so you can see them side by side. So very similarly to the comparison with Tom Ford, I think the mattes didn't swatch as nicely from the Victoria Beckham as they did from the Natasha Denona, but the shimmer is better. This is the Victoria Beckham. You can see the swatches of the mattes are just not that good, and I did go over them a few times. And here is the shimmer, which swatched really nicely. It looks really beautiful. Whereas the Natasha Denona, we know the shimmers from her palettes are fabulous, but I don't think it's quite as nice as this one. But then the mattes have swatched much more evenly. But going by the olive, I don't think it makes too much difference about when you actually put them on the eyes. They seem to be very pigmented. It's just when they're on the hands. So hopefully it'll be the same with this blue palette, even though blue can be a more tricky colour. And the shades are different. You can see they're different. This one's fairly similar, but these two are quite different. You could definitely create a similar look. So again, I would say it's one of these things where I would choose one or the other if you have neither and you're looking for a blue palette. But if you've already got that one from Natasha Denona, you might not want to get this. So I've got my microfiber cloth and I'm going to actually clean off every brush I use. So I use identical brushes. And because I made that mistake with the application, I might actually just go ahead and just use the Wayne Goss brush because it worked out quite well in the end, didn't it? So that means I'm just using, well, 3 brushes for most of it anyway. So starting off with the Wayne Goss number 6, I'm going to go into this, and I need to remember just how much I got last time. Let's see, I'll start by just tapping on how much I get. I was a bit more careful this time because I learnt my lesson, and this brush obviously picks up a lot more than what I'm used to as well, I think. That's not too bad actually. And obviously you expect this to be quite a pale blue looking at it in the palette. So this is the one, the biggest one, and I'm guessing it's bigger because obviously with transition type shades you use more, because this is obviously not something you could use anywhere else on the face unless you're looking for a blue blush for a special look. So blues can be very patchy and very difficult to blend out sometimes. Not Natasha Denona's though, in fairness. I've sort of forgotten and let that go across the lid, but anyway, it's not too much of a problem. The main colour is going into the crease, above the crease and the outer V. So blending out very evenly actually, look. If you can see any sort of unevenness, it's because despite having a bit of concealer and powder on, you can see my veins creeping through still. But I think the powder itself is blending out very easily. It is the polar opposite of the way it swatches. It swatches so badly. Definitely an example of, if you saw this in store, you'd probably say, no way am I buying that because of the way it's swatched. But so far, every single shade I've tried has blended out really nicely. That is a lovely transition shade of blue actually. I really like that. So I think it's showing there's probably different options with these as well. You don't have to use every single colour. If you wanted to go for a really simple look, you could, for instance, just do this and this all over the lid and just not even do those. To have a really simple look. It would actually be very quick because you're pretty much done now. Just put a bit of shimmer over the top of your finger and off you go. You've got your quick blue look. This brush is so good. I've never had a brush this big that I can do that with. I can see this being my most used brush for the crease. I'm going to go into this shade. I'm going to do the same sort of look as I did on this eye. I'm trying to make it as light as I can to work with my complexion, because this could be a really smoky look. Like with the olive, I could have gone for that really deep green that I used to line. I could have used that to really smoke out here. So this shows that these can be versatile, that you can, with more fair skin, wear it like this, but if you've got a deeper complexion or somebody who just really suits these really very smoky looks, you could take this deeper green and really smoke out a lot. So with this look you could now do that with this, but I will just be using that as my liner shade because it would just be too much for me. So just tapping in as I would with my Shodo brush now. Oh, that's a lovely blue. Oh, I love that. I love those two together. It's just like when I laid down the two greens, but oh, that's even nicer. I love it. If you know me, you know greens are my favourite, but I think my favourite greens really are lighter greens. That blue, oh, that is beautiful. I love it. See that tiny bit I just tapped in, I got all that, and there is zero patchiness. Fantastic quality. For a blue, that is blending out incredibly easily. It's such a relief because I love Victoria Beckham and I was dreading having to say to you that these are going to be rubbish because I love the brand and I would have been gutted to say to you it's rubbish, but I would be honest because if it applies in a patchy way that's rubbish like it did when I swatched it, I would have told you. Well, you would have seen for yourself, let's face it. But oh, that is beautiful. I love it. Take a tiny bit more. I don't want it to go mad. I think for me that's just a perfect sort of depth. I'm just taking a tiny bit more here. And I'm just going to slightly bring it across so that that shimmer shade's going over the blue a bit more. Oh, I really like that. So now, as I did with the other one, I'm going to go in with the Refa 23 into this really deep shade here. And I'm going to line underneath. It's a perfect liner shade. And again, it just goes on so easily. Very easy to work with, these are. So just bringing this up a tiny bit. And as with the other side now, just bringing it across, thickening up a little bit there. So I'm getting a bit of a smoke, but just a little smoke, not a big one. Just more of a wing that's given me a bit of smoke. Oh, that is really nice. I'm going to line this all the way across and just go back over this with the Wayne Goss to just soften the edge of that where I've lined. Didn't need much softening, just a little bit. And I think I'll go back in like I did the first time with this brush, with the clean brush, which I've cleaned off from earlier so it's clean again. Just soften around the edges. I could take a tiny dab again of this light blue to just go again over the edge where it's deepened up a bit. So now to finish, taking this shimmer, which I can't wait to use actually. A good pop of brightness across the eye now. Whoa, look at that. That is really impactful and absolutely stunning. I love that. That is gorgeous. I'm going to take this fluffy brush to blend it through the crease area. This one is a little bit more chunky than in the olive, and I have got a tiny bit of fallout coming down from this one. Yeah, definitely got a bit of fallout with that one, but I did actually tap off my finger a little bit, but anyway. Just keep that in mind, might be better off doing your eyes before your face. How pretty is that? So you can definitely get a much lighter look because that shimmer, wow. That is so pretty. I love it. I'll just take a tiny bit of this blue here. Just put a little bit more there. But I will stick to my Tom Ford for the inner corner and under the brow again. I don't want a sort of light blue shimmer in those areas. I know a lot of people might go for the shimmer there, and it is quite a bright one. I very rarely go with shimmers, but this one is quite chunky, and it would definitely just go into the creases in that part of my eye and not be overly complimentary. So I'd rather go with a soft matte that just brightens. I'm just going to try and remove some of that fallout. I don't think I can, I think it's just spreading it. So yeah, I did get quite a bit of fallout with that, which is a shame because I did not with the gold. Not enough to put me off though, because wow, is that beautiful. So there we go. That is the final look with this one too. So which one is your favourite? I think it's fairly obvious which one is my favourite, and just this once, it's not the green. The blue is definitely my favourite. I think the blue is an absolute knockout. Wow. I've got to be honest, I think I prefer the Tom Ford Olive Smoke over this. And I think this is sensational. I wouldn't say it's better than the Natasha Denona. It's different. I think that I think I prefer it because the shimmer in the Natasha Denona is just not as beautiful as this. It does have this incredible duochrome, and that's how it's different. So you do create quite a different look. So I love this in a different way. But because I love light shimmers, because I really need them to bring light to my eyes in that area, this shimmer is just perfect. So it would be my current favourite blue palette for sure. Not that I have a lot in my collection. I've got quite a few with a good pop of blue. We had a lot of those over the holiday period where we had a really nice blue added into a mixture. But this is obviously a pure blue or navy. I love it. I love the liner shade as well. I just love everything about this actually. I think it's gorgeous. So I'm really, really glad I got that one. But I don't dislike this. I think it's beautiful. I do actually prefer the green liner in this to the Tom Ford Black, I think. So maybe they're about 50-50 actually. Maybe I like them both the same. But definitely recommend them if you like them, because they are really good, really, really good. And the formulas were fabulous. So much better than Swatches. Anyway, I'll just go off camera, put some mascara on, and you can see how this looks with mascara. So here is my final look with mascara. Which one is your favourite? Is it the olive? Or the navy? I'm very, very happy with both. I love the packaging, I love the formula, I love the colours, I particularly love the shimmers, and I particularly love the navy noir. Couldn't say that then. But yeah, these are really nice actually. They feel so solid and luxe. So again, I've said this with Tom Ford, and obviously it's fairly obvious, you do need to really love them when you're paying these prices. So if you absolutely love the colour story and you absolutely love the case, this could be a fabulous treat for you, or something you can put on your list as a birthday gift, even wait till Christmas. I think these are going to be around for a long time. They are permanent with the refills, so there's no rush to get them now. You might even pick them up in a sale. Victoria Beckham very occasionally has sales. She did actually have a decent discount around Christmas, January time, so you never know, you could pick up a bargain then, or find it even elsewhere. I don't know, is this in Sephora? I don't know, but I got mine from the Victoria Beckham website. But anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on both of these. Have you picked up any of these? Are you a fan of Victoria Beckham like I am? And if you are, which one are you thinking of getting, or which one are you adding to your wish list? Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts on these. I've really enjoyed doing this, and if you found it helpful, I would love it so much if you hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed, if you hit the subscribe button, I would love that too. And if you're a subscriber and you're here at the end of another review, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you, and I hope to see all of you again for my next video. Take care everybody. Bye.